So earlier today, I saw a YouTube video. I mean, I didn't watch it, but I saw the thumbnail of someone ranking every mob in Minecraft. And that's when I realized I have an entire video going over what Minecraft mobs I could beat in a fight. And I never actually, you know, used that tier list again. But I have a great opportunity to now. So what up YouTube? It's Luca. And today I'm gonna rank mobs once again. Though this time I'm not gonna rank them on whether or not they would destroy me in a battle. I'm gonna be, well, just ranking them based on how I feel about them. It's kind of hard to rank them because you have to consider, are you gonna rank them based on how well designed they are or how much you like them? So I'm going to try to do both, which might be hard in some cases. And also I'm using this tier list, which might be the same one that I used for my every mob I could beat in a fight video. I don't think it is, but anyway, this tier list was prepared by this guy, and yeah, I changed some things. I have 5 tiers here, which is less than was originally included in the template. But yeah, I didn't want to make too many tiers because, well, I feel like it's going to be kind of hard to really differentiate that much. But yeah, so yeah, if you enjoy these type of tier list videos, then be sure to voice your opinion either by liking, subscribing, commenting. I don't really care what you do. And yeah, let's get started. So first up is the bed. I don't know why that one's the first up, but I don't think I will be alone in saying that the bed is kind of underwhelming. Sure, it adds a little bit of atmosphere to the world, but yeah, it doesn't really do much. I mean, it's not like completely useless. It's not that I would want it gone. So I think I'll put it in the C tier, just because it's a nice little touch to the world. But you know, it is kind of you kind of sometimes forget that they're in the game. So yeah, moving on quickly, we have the bee. Now I will say the bee is kind of useful for farming honey and stuff, and honeycombs. I myself have personally never really seen why people would farm the hell out of that. I just don't really see the point. Like, yeah, you can make like honey blocks, but that's only useful for like crazy redstone builds, which I don't usually involve myself in. Nevertheless, I will admit that the bees are a very fun and nice addition to the world. So I think I'll put the bees in B tier. Yeah, just because I like them more than the bed. They do have their uses, unlike the bed, which is literally just there to, well, be there. But yeah, I still think they're generally not like really that noteworthy outside of that. Anyway, now we have the blaze, and I was thinking about where I was gonna place some of the mobs before I, started this video, and I think I've come to a pretty controversial opinion. I don't really like the blaze. Like, I mean, I think it's just an extremely frustrating mob to fight. Its behavior is kind of weird. Like, it shoots three fireballs, which are most of the time pretty accurate, but once you're close enough, they just like melee you, even though from their design you wouldn't really be able to tell that they could melee you. And yeah, I mean, their design is fine. I mean, it would look pretty cool if it weren't for the fact that I don't really know what it is supposed to be still. So yeah, I'm generally not that great of a fan of the blaze, which is kind of wild, but then again, I only just realized when I really started thinking about where I would rank this thing. So yeah, don't cancel me over this opinion. But yeah, just generally not that much of a fan of the blaze. I often loathe their existence. And yeah, now the cat, I think the cat is a very nice mob. I mean, I myself like cats in the real world. So yeah, I'm obviously gonna be slightly biased. But I also like all the variations that you can get. So yeah, they're also a nice companion. They scare creepers away. So overall, Like when you're making a creeper farm, you can use them. They have decent utility. They bring you items when you sleep sometimes. And yeah, like I said, they are a really great addition to the world. I think I'm going to put them in the A tier. It's not quite S because, well, in terms of design, they're just a cat. And also their usability doesn't extend too far beyond what I mentioned. So yeah. Now the cave spider, many people hate the cave spider. I kind of think they're annoying, but I do think they're used pretty well. Like they're sparse enough where you don't really think about their obnoxiousness from day to day. So I think that is well done. And overall, I think I kind of like the extra challenge of poison spider. So yeah, I think I'll put it in the same tier as the bat. Yeah, I mean, I like this one more than the blaze because, you're not really guaranteed to come across one. Well, you're not really guaranteed to come across the blaze either, but I think you find more, you interact with more nether fortresses than you do mine shafts. Or maybe that's not really the right way to put it. It's more that you're more likely to come into active confrontation with the blaze from day to day than you are to come into a direct confrontation with cave spiders. And even then, these things are still generally easier to kill than a blaze. So then the chicken. All the regular animals are going to be kind of weird to rank. Especially, the cat wasn't very hard to rank, but especially with like the chicken. I mean, it's just chicken. So what can I really say about it? I guess I like its utility. You can gather eggs from it. They're very easy to farm. And yeah, overall they're small. They don't really take up that much space. So I'd say I'd put them in the B rank. Yeah, I mean, they're perfectly fine. So now one that's really going to be really difficult to rank, the fish. I think this is the cold, and I think I'll probably just throw the salmon in there as well. And where's the tropical fishes? Yeah, I'll just do all the like regular fish at once. I think that's all of them. So yeah, they're probably all gonna go in the same tier. Oh, actually, not really. I think I know where I'm gonna rank each of them. So I think I'm gonna put the cod and the salmon in C tier, just because, well, I mean, they're normal fish. I mean, I appreciate their normalness in this world, but they're kind of unremarkable. They're kind of just like the bat, but I guess they do have some extra utility within the fact that you can kill them for food and bones. I think I'm gonna put the tropical fish in the B tier because you have so many different variations. You have like 150 different kinds of tropical fish, which I think really adds a lot to the beautifulness that the coral biome that these guys spawn in already embody. So yeah, I appreciate the time that went into making each and every variant. And yeah, I think the pufferfish is funny. Like, I think it's just a really funny guy. So yeah, and I do kind of like the challenge, I guess, that this thing poses. Yeah, I mean, I can't really explain why. I'm just a fan of this guy. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in. I'm also gonna put it in the B tier. I think, though it is probably lower than the tropical fish. Yeah, I think this is probably right. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna definitively order the things within the tier, but yeah, I'll see. But for now, this is ordered within the tier. Now the cow. The cow is actually very interesting. I think I'm gonna put it either in B or in A rank, but I don't know. I don't know which one. The cow is similar to the chicken in the sense that it has a lot of utility. You can farm meat from them, meat which is better than the chicken because it gives higher saturation. It can give you leather, and it can give you milk, which isn't as useful as the other two. But yeah, overall, I think on like an aesthetic level, I like the Minecraft cow more than the Minecraft chicken. And yeah, I don't really, given all the things that we already have to cover, I don't really feel fair putting it in the A tier, but I will put it at the top of B tier. So yeah, that's that. I'm noticing a trend that the regular animals are really difficult to rank, because I don't really know how to talk about them within the context of, the Blaze, which ironically is outclassed by all of them in this tier list. But yeah, moving swiftly on, we have the Creeper. Now, I mean, plenty of people hate the Creeper, but I will say I'll put it in the A tier. Yeah, I'll put it above the Cat. I mean, there's a reason it became such an iconic mob, because I think it's a really good concept for, a mob that literally just blows itself up when you come too close. I think it's very simple but effective. And their design is also very interesting. I don't know how they came up with that, but they often might blend in with like the grass. And I mean, it's the Creeper. It's an iconic design, and yeah, it wouldn't have been so iconic if it wasn't, at least in some parts, good. So the Dolphin is kind of difficult. I mean, on the one hand, they're really cute, but on the other hand, they're kind of unremarkable. I mean, what do? They play with items in the water, which, if you want to pick them up, is actually more of a nuisance. And yeah, I mean, they give you a swimming speed boost, which is nice. But on the other hand, you've got so much other ways of traveling across the water. Yeah, other than swimming, you have boating, you have just flying with an elytra with either rockets or like a trident. So then you're not really gonna notice the benefits of a dolphin. So yeah, I think it's just a little bit underwhelming. I think I'll put it at the bottom of C tier, because like I said, it's kind of unremarkable. Right, then the donkey. Now, the donkey is pretty useful. I mean, it's generally not as resilient as a horse, but you can equip it with chests, which is pretty useful. And of course, donkeys have a special history here on the channel with Carl. May God bless his soul. Watch the Minecraft Pocket Edition survival series from way back in the day, if you want to get the lore behind Carl the donkey. But yeah, I've generally always liked the horses even before that series. Or I mean the donkeys. I've generally always liked the donkeys before that series. And yeah, I think I'll put it. I think I'll put it here in the B tier, lower than the bee or the cow, because it doesn't have. I feel like its utility doesn't really stretch beyond them, but I feel like they're still better than like the fish and the chicken. So then the drowned. I mean, yeah, I mean it's just a zombie but underwater. I think their aesthetic is very nice. Yeah, I don't know, they look really cool. And yeah, I think that is going to give them a slight edge over the zombies. Also the fact that they can wield tridents, while often annoying, you have to admit that's pretty cool that they can do that. So yeah, I think I will put them either at the top of B or the bottom of A. I think I'll put them at the bottom of A for now. We'll see if I change anything. Now the Elder Guardian. The Elder Guardian, I think the Elder Guardian might be our first S tier. I think this is a really cool design for a mob. Not only is it tough, not only can it do a lot of damage, but it also influences you indirectly. It gives you mining fatigue, which makes it harder to get into the ocean monument to begin with, which I think is really cool. That's something that, almost no other mob does. I mean, is there any other mob that does that? I mean, I guess the Wither skeleton can give you Wither, but that's direct, and the Warden indirectly gives you blindness. So yeah, this is kind of almost one of a kind, and I think it's really cool. So yeah, I think the regular Guardians are also already pretty cool design-wise, but this is just them on steroids. And speaking of, let's put the regular Guardian in. I think the regular Guardian is also going at the top of A tier. I really like these guys, even though they're often somewhat annoying. I still really like their like monument and their design. So yeah, the Ender Dragon. I mean, I think I will put the Ender Dragon. I think I'll put the Ender Dragon here. I mean, it. Its design is kind of simple, which on the one hand is nice, because then you're not getting like distracted during the fight because of like some crazy rendered model. But on the other hand, I can't help but wish for like more. Yeah, I mean, I kind of just wish it had a, more complex design. But I can't deny that, fighting it is always pretty incredible. And yeah, it's just a great experience fighting this thing all around. Now the Enderman is also pretty cool. I'm not really sure whether to put them. Yeah, I think I'll put them here, just above the ground. Yeah, the Endermen are very cool conceptually. You know, teleporting, picking up blocks, being afraid of eye contact. A lot of quirks that gives them a lot of personality. And yeah, finding them is also always challenging. And like I said, the design is pretty interesting in a good way. So yeah, I mean, the Ender Mite, it probably should be S tier alone because of the fact that you can use them to make Enderman farms. But if we're really talking, I mean, it's kind of a very forgettable mob. Like, it doesn't show up very often. You get like a random chance of spawning one when you throw an ender pearl, which is not going to come up that often unless you're actively trying to get one for a farm. So yeah, just a little bit overlooked, this guy is. Now the Evoker, I think the Evoker is pretty sick. I don't know whether to put them in high A tier or low S tier. I think I will put them in S tier, just because, it's just a really cool mob. It summons like the gates of hell to swallow you up, and it summons like the Vexes, which I think we can rank these guys. I mean, I think I'll put them in high B. Yeah. Anyway, I'll first talk about the Evoker. Yeah, its design is simple but effective. He's wearing the black and golden robe, which kind of makes him pretty imposing. Even more so than the Vindicators, I think, and those guys wield giant axes. But I feel like this guy is more imposing just solely based on his outfit. And yeah, like I said, he's got a couple of really cool attacks. I do kind of wish he had more attacks outside of just, summoning like gaping mouths and summoning Vexes. So yeah, the only slight negative point about it is that it doesn't have a lot of variety in its combat. But yeah, that's fine, I feel like. Right, now the Fox. I kind of like the Fox. I think I will put them in... Yeah, I think I'll put them just ahead of the cow. It is often a nuisance to try and catch them and like breed them and get a tame one. But I do really like their look and overall design. Like their behavior within the game. Being very skittish and picking up stuff in their mouth. Even stuff like swords, which is really funny. And yeah, I don't know. They're just cute. I like them. And, they have some functionality within the game. So the horse. I mean, the horse and the donkey are kind of equal to me in this regard. I'll put the horse just ahead of the donkey. Because, well, I think the horse with like its armor is going to see more use. And also, I think it might be faster or it may jump higher. I don't know. There's something the horses do better than the donkey in terms of movement, but I just don't know what. At least I'm fairly certain. Anyway, the Husk. I think the Husk is interesting. It is an interesting variation of the zombie. And, I mean, I don't think it's as good as the Drowned. I do like its design. But it's just that, it doesn't really have any changed behavior like the Drowned swim. And kind of base their combat around that with stuff like tridents. But the Husk is just a zombie that doesn't burn in the daylight, which is cool. I think I'm going to put them at the top of B tier. Now the Iron Golem, I really like these guys. Yeah, I think I'll put them at the top of A tier. And yeah, I mean, what's not to love about the Iron Golem? They protect you, you can build them yourself. You know, you don't have to just randomly find one. And I don't know, they're just one of your best friends within the game. And they're also really powerful, which is nice for a mob that is supposed to protect. Now the Llama. The Llama is probably going to be one of the weirdest guys on this tier list. Because on the one hand, I like them. You know, they're funny. But on the other hand, you know, you don't really see people talking about them, ever. They're probably one of the most forgettable mobs in the game, in spite of how fun they are. So yeah, it's gonna break my heart, but I think I'll put them in C tier, at the top. You know, so it's small consolidation price, they're at the top of C tier. But I feel like they're just so forgettable for some unexplainable reason. And yet, they still have their personalities almost. And yeah, it breaks my heart, but the Llama is just kind of, it's just kind of insignificant. Now the Magma Cube, I don't really know what to think about this guy. I mean, it is a slime that spawns in the nether. I guess we can do the slimes as well. It is on fire. I think I'll put them in B tier. I think I'll put them here in B tier. And the slimes, I think I will put them a little higher because I like their design more. I like their transparency. A little more than the Magma Cubes, just, you know, a little bit blender design. But the question is, where am I going to place it? I think I'll put them here, you know, just behind the B. Now maybe, or maybe just in front of the B. You know what? I'm going to give it a big boost. We're going to place them here. So yeah, I mean, they're great mobs. I mean, they're interesting design. They're generally not that challenging to fight. The magma block more so, I think, because, you know, the small ones can actually hurt you, whereas with the slime, the smallest ones can't do anything to you. So yeah, the magma cube is more challenging to fight, but I like the slime's design way more because, you know, they're transparent. So yeah, and of course, the reward that a slime gives is a lot more useful than the reward that a magma cube gives. Well, I mean, they did have their usefulness increased slightly with the 1.9 update, because now you can turn them into frog lights with the help of frogs. But even so, that's not really something that's really gonna be, you know, all that common, because, you know, you have to go to quite a bit of length to set up a farm like that. So the Mooshroom, I don't know why, but the Mooshroom is just so funny to me. I mean, it's just a cow with mushroom on its back, but something about it just is insanely funny to me. I think it's just the complete black eyes. They always look, which, you know, I don't know if that's supposed to be creepy, but I always just thought it was funny how their expression look like. They're not that much better than a cow. I mean, you can get stew from them, but I think I'll place them in low A tier just because I like their look that much. Now the Mule is really interesting. I barely see anyone ever talking about this thing, but I almost never use it. I don't think I've ever used it outside of one time, which was in like my very first world that I like beat the Ender Dragon and did some complex stuff. But I still think it's like such a cool concept. It's almost like an Easter egg when you get it. And yeah, I mean, I do think, you know, in terms of design, it's probably my favorite of like the donkey, the horse, and the mule. But, you know, you do have to go to quite some lengths to get it. And the reward is, what is it again? You can equip this guy with horse armor and chests, which is potentially pretty useful. So yeah, I think I'll leave it here ahead of the two other guys in its pack. Now the Ocelot, I actually like the Ocelot quite a lot. I think in terms of design, I actually like the default appearance of the Ocelot more than any of the cat variants. But on the other hand, the regular house cat has kind of outshone the Ocelot ever since it was introduced. Like, to be honest, I don't even know why it's still in the game, but I'm still a fan of them. Like, in terms of functionality, I don't know why they still exist. I don't know why they weren't replaced with the cats. But in terms of aesthetic, I appreciate that they're still in the game. So yeah, I don't think they're nearly on the level of cats, but I think I'll put them just ahead of the fox, since that's about, the level where I appreciate them. Now the panda, the panda is a very fun creature. I will say that. It adds a lot to the jungle, but it's not really that useful to have one around. The babies produce slime, which is nice, but outside of that, there's not really much reason to have one nearby. Yeah, they kind of just win off of their aesthetic reasons, like the same as the fish, which I think I'll put them behind the tropic fish, just behind, since I feel like they're about equal to me in terms of what they bring to the game. Some very, very niche uses, and they're more here for their aesthetic value. Now the parrot is very nice. I like the parrot, and yeah, it took me quite a while to really come to appreciate the parrot. In fact, like, I think it was only at the beginning of this year where I really started having fun with the parrots and started taming all variants. So yeah, that's nice. And yeah, they actually have plenty of like secret utility because they can mimic the sounds of mobs that are nearby. So you can kind of discern if there are any mobs nearby based on what sounds they make. So yeah, not too useful generally, but like if you're in a dark underground cave, it might be useful. I think I'll put them together with the mushroom and probably even slightly ahead of the Mooshroom, because, well, they're both in the same camp, sort of. They're just funny creatures that have some utility, but that is kind of limited, the utility that they do have. Now the Phantom, look, I'm not really gonna sugarcoat it. I don't think there are a lot of people that like the Phantom, and yeah, I mean, everyone's already kind of said everything that there is to say about the Phantom. So yeah, the pig, I mean, the pig is nice. I like its expression. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of harder to make farms with this one than it is with the chicken. But I think they're still on about the same level. I think the pig is probably going to be bottom of B tier. Just because, cows provide leather, chickens provide feathers, a pig just supplies meat. Which is still nice. But you could also have meat and leather, or meat and feathers. So yeah, I'm sorry, pig. Now, the pillager, I don't know how I feel about these guys. On the one hand, I like their design. On the other hand, they're kind of not really that hard to fight when they kind of should be more challenging to fight. So, yeah, I mean, I think out of all of like the Pillager mobs, like the Vindicator, the Evoker, the Vex, and the Pillager, I think this one's probably going to be my least favorite. Yeah, I don't know. I just wish they were a little more threatening. And yeah, that's just about it. I do like that the captain carries the banner on his back. But this is about the pillagers as a whole. I don't think there's a separate entry for the pillager commander. So yeah, that's sad. Now the polar bear. I feel like it's in the same camp as the dolphin and the bat. But I do like this one the most out of all of them. Similar to the dolphin and the bat, it doesn't really have much of a use. Like, it's kind of just there, just to fill up the world and make it look more alive. But I do like the polar bear. I do like that it can, it actually does some serious damage back if it gets in. And yeah, overall, it resides in the snow biome, which I think definitely needs more liveliness. In contrast to, the caves, which don't really need that much liveliness to begin with. and, you know, the oceans, which, you know, with the recent updates, with the coral biome and all the fish, are kind of lively enough. So yeah, I do think the bear adds the most to its biome. Now the rabbit, another contender here. I think I'll put it here, behind the bat and the polar bear. They're kind of the same, where they're kind of, you know, insignificant. They don't really add much. I mean, you can farm them, but I don't know why you would do that instead of just farming like a cow, which kind of, you know, a cow farm does everything a bunny farm can do, and better. I mean, I guess you can get rabbit food from these guys if you really want potions of jump height, but I genuinely don't think there's anyone that uses that. So yeah, unfortunately, I mean, they are nice for aesthetic purposes, but I just feel like they're quite rare. You almost never see them, and as such, you know, combined with their limited usability, you kind of forget that they exist. They kind of just fade into the background. So yeah, like I said, insignificant, so not really that high on my appreciation list. Now the Ravager, I think the Ravager is really cool. I think I'll put it at the top of A. Hello, can I please? I think I'll put it at the top of A. It's got an insanely cool design. Yeah, and it's also really tanky. The problem is that, you know, it's not really that hard to just keep distance from it. And if you keep distance from it, you know, it's kind of really not threatening at all. It's not really that fast. And yeah, I mean, if you stay out of its way and have a decent bow, you can just deal with this guy. It does get kind of alleviated by the fact that these guys kind of only spawn in raids, which you know, does help them to pose more of a threat, because you can't really freely keep your distance from them, whilst also paying attention to you know, everything else that's going on in the raid, all the other illagers that come there. So yeah, in the context of a raid, it's you know, its downside, its one downside, isn't really that bad. And yeah, I still like it, but you know, that one downside being that if you know what you're doing, it's kind of ridiculously easy to kill it. I think that's the one thing that keeps it out of S tier. Now the sheep, I think of all the four, like the quartet of regular animals, chicken, pig, cow and sheep, I probably like the sheep the most. I think I'll put it at the top of B tier. Yeah, I don't know. You can do so much with a sheep. You can build a wool farm, you can change its color with dye, you can even kill it for meat. Yeah, it has a lot of usability and it looks really fun. It looks really funny, to me at least. So yeah, I think I've always appreciated sheep the most out of the four. Now the Shulker, I think the Shulker actually might be S tier. I think it is the lowest S tier probably out of all of them. But the Shulker, it has an interesting design, kind of like, you know, a camouflage, just blending in as like a Shulker box or a purple block before, you know, suddenly popping out and attacking you. And what I really like is that it poses such an interesting threat to the player. Like, it makes you levitate, which, you know, is completely unlike anything that these guys can do. I mean, I guess the Ender Dragon can throw you up in the air, but it can't really do it consistently, which, you know, these guys fire projectiles at you that make you levitate. So yeah, I feel like that's why they're in S tier, because they're such a unique threat among all the mobs. Now the Silverfish, I mean, I think I'll put them in D tier. It's interesting, like their hive mind, how there will constantly, you know, pop out more Silverfish as you continue damaging one. So I do like that hive mind aspect of them, but overall, like they're so insignificant. Like, you're basically only gonna see them in strongholds, and you know, outside of a stronghold, you probably won't even remember that they exist. So yeah, I feel like they're probably at the top of this tier, just because, like I said, their hive mind mechanic is pretty interesting. But yeah, it's still pretty insignificant. So the skeleton horse, I really like the design of this guy. Yeah, I think I will put them probably over here. There we go. Yeah, I really like their design. I also really like how you obtain them with, like, the one horse just out and about that gets struck, and suddenly, you have to face off against the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So yeah, I really like that is how you have to obtain them. And yeah, I mean, it's just creative. Now, the skeleton. Looking at this tier list, the skeleton is kind of weird. I do like that it poses more of a ranged threat. But overall, it's still kind of just a basic skeleton. So yeah, I think I'll put it at the bottom of B tier. Just because, it's a skeleton. It's not really that much, there's not really that much to say about it. But yeah, the snow golem. I think this guy is a little bit overlooked. I think I'll put it somewhere in the middle of C tier. You know what? I like them more than the fish. So yeah, the snow golem, I feel like it just doesn't really have that much uses. You can use them in like hostile mob farms to attract mobs into walking off the edge, which I guess it's nice. And I kind of do like their concept and their design. But outside of that, their use cases are very limited. I mean, they do no damage, which I don't know why they did that. I thought their snowballs could, like, maybe at least do half damage, half a heart. But as it stands, they're just kind of a complete non-threat if you want to use them to defend yourself. So yeah. The spider, I like it more than the cave spider. I feel like I like it marginally more than the skeleton. I feel like I'll put it between the pig and the pufferfish. Yeah, I like that it can climb up walls. And something I've recently learned is that on hard mode, normally I always play on normal mode, but recently I've been playing on hard mode because I want to convert some villagers. And I actually noticed that certain spiders on hard mode spawn with random potion effects. I believe I came across one which had swiftness, which was kind of funny but also kind of terrifying. So yeah, I like that slight, that slight uniqueness about them. They can be infused with various effects to make combating them harder. But yeah, overall it's still just kind of a basic mob. Now the squid, I mean, it is a squid. It'll probably go somewhere here. I'll put it, just below the dolphin. They're kind of in the same camp. They just kind of exist to be in the water. I mean, I guess you can get ink from the squid to make black dye. Yeah, you know what? Controversial opinion. I'll put the squid above the dolphin. But yeah, there's very little to say about it. Now the stray, I actually really like the concept for this guy, and also the design. It's like a frozen skeleton with like its clothes still draping off. And the fact that it gives you slowness also makes it a little harder to combat them. Makes it harder to strafe and make them miss. So I think I'll probably rank them alongside, their pale brothers, the Vex. I think I do like the Vex still a little more than the Stray. But yeah, I still think that this is a good mob. Now we have the Wandering Trader and his llamas. I don't really hate the Wandering Trader. I think he's just kind of insignificant. Yeah, I mean, I think I will probably put him somewhere down here. I'll put him above the bunny, at the very least. And his llamas, I mean, it's kind of not really fair to rank them. So yeah, I'll just rank them alongside their normal counterparts. They go slightly higher because, they're already dripped out. Anyway, the turtle. I mean, I kind of have mixed feelings on the turtle. on the one hand, I think they're such a cute mob to have, but on the other hand, they don't really do much. It's kind of tedious to get them to breed and produce a Squirtle for little rewards. The Potion of the Turtle Master, while I've never used it, is really cool conceptually, and I could see some use cases for it, such as, when you're fighting a Warden, when you're trying to fight a Warden, might I add, or when you're fighting like a Wither or something, but it's still niche, and like the scuba diving turtle helmet is also kind of underwhelming, given, you need 5 of these Squirtles to get it, which, is kind of a pain, as I have recently found out, because I wanted one of those helmets. So yeah, I think I'll put them at the bottom of B tier, which might be a little too generous given everything I just said, but I just like their design. It's just a turtle. Now a villager. I mean, we all hate the villagers because of like their behavior and their mechanics, but let's be real. The villager is like a brilliant mob. Just the fact that you can do so much with them. You can create an iron farm, you can get, insane amount of trades. You can get stuff basically for free that you would otherwise spend a huge amount of time on. They're just, if you can get them to work, they're such a big help. And yeah, everyone always punches down on them, but I don't think Minecraft would be what it was today if it weren't for the villagers making some insane things possible. And yeah. So now the Vindicator. I think the Vindicator is pretty threatening. I like it. I don't think it is, quite on the level of the Evoker, but I think I like it more than the Enderman. Do I like it more than the cat? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, they're just kind of standard guys that rush at you and attack you, but they're actually quite quick and do a lot of damage. So yeah, I appreciate that they're a little more of a threat than something like a regular zombie. Now the witch, I don't really like fighting against the witch, but I do like the concept of the threat it poses. An enemy that can buff itself and debuff you. We've seen, mobs debuffing you, but we don't really see mobs buffing it, themselves, which is kind of cool. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I will put them in A tier. I think I'll put them just. I think I'll put them just above the drowned. They're both irritating to fight. But I think I do hate fighting against the drowned just a little more. Because if they have a trident, they can like snipe you from like 50 blocks away. And they do loads of damage. With the witch, I mean, they can poison you. Which in Java Edition isn't that bad, but in Bedrock Edition, I think at least, is it still that way? That their poison lasts for much longer. But yeah, in Java Edition, that would probably, in Bedrock Edition, that would probably be a deal breaker. But in Java Edition, I, I think that's enough to lift them above the ground. Now, the Wither Skeleton. These guys are so cool. I mean, yeah, there's very little for me to say about this. I like them. They're cool. I don't think they're high A tier, but I think they're somewhere probably in the middle. I think they're kind of. Now, I do like fighting against them. It's not like it's irritating to fight against them. I think that I like them a little more than the Vindicator, because, they both kind of act the same way. But the Wither Skeleton has like the Wither effect, which is pretty cool. And yeah, overall I just like fighting them more than the Vindicator, even though it's not by much, as you can see. Now then we have the Wither. And the Wither, I mean, my condolences to all Bedrock players out there. I used to be one of you. I mean, I remember in like the Minecraft Pocket Edition series, I tried to fight the Wither on Pocket Edition, which is Bedrock, and it just went horrible. This thing on Bedrock is actually kind of insane with how tough it is. Like on Java Edition, this thing, compared to Bedrock Edition, the Java Wither is kind of a joke with how easy it is to defeat. And yeah, I also remember I did like a live stream way back in the day on one of my PlayStation 4 worlds, and I tried to fight the Wither in the snow, and I swear on God my game was gonna crash from all the like snowballs that were laying on the ground. I definitely didn't think that one through. So yeah, some fond memories, I guess you could call them. I don't like it more than the Ender Dragon, but I think it is somewhere near there. I think I'll put it just below the Enderman. That seems like a right spot for it to go in. Now the wolf, everyone loves the wolf. I don't like it as much as the cat, just because, they're kind of... Now they're not really that much similar. The wolf actually attacks, whereas I don't think a cat will actively attack something. The cat of course does other things. It scares off creepers, which I think is more impactful overall than scaring off skeletons. And yeah, it brings you items, whereas the wolf kind of just, it attacks for you, which is pretty nice. I think I'll put it just below the Wither. It's good. There's not really much more to say about it. The zombie piglins. Yeah, I feel like these guys are high A tier. I think I'll put them just above the Ender Dragon. I really like their hive mind, similar with the Silverfish. I think that's a really interesting concept. And these guys can actually be very threatening, which, is also nice. They don't really, the Silverfish is more of a nuisance. But, with the hive mind, these guys can be really, really powerful and really threatening. I also like their designs. This picture is from before 1.16. But yeah, I like both the designs. Yeah, they're really detailed. I also like how like violent these designs are. You can like see the bones under their rotting skin, which, for Minecraft, you gotta admit that's pretty dark. So yeah, then we have the zombie and the zombie villager. I mean, the zombie is kind of just a zombie. I think I'll probably put it at the bottom of B tier. I mean, it's just the most standard mob of all. And B tier is just a middle tier. So I guess it's nice to, it's just fine to put it there. Now the zombie villager, I don't want to put it higher because I do think the concept is a little better. Just a normal average guy was transformed into a zombie. I don't really know where to put it. I mean, I only like its design better, so I think I'll put it just above the skeleton. It doesn't have that much going above the original zombie. Now the ghasts, I kind of don't really like the ghast. I think they're very irritating to fight. And on top of that, their design is like fine, but it's nothing, it's nothing earth-shattering. So yeah, I don't really like fighting them. It's probably gonna go somewhere in the C tier. It's not as, egregious to put it in the D tier. But yeah, I think I'll probably put it just behind the Pillager. And yeah, there's not much more to say about it. It's more of a nuisance, often, than really much of a threat. I mean, it can be a threat, but yeah. Yeah, when you see it, you're not really scared. You're more just annoyed, I feel like. Now the Hoglin is interesting. It is pretty threatening. It's fast. It does a moderate amount of damage. And you can also use this to create some really efficient food farms. So yeah, I think it is a well-designed mob. Its design, now that I think about it, I'm a little on its design. Because, I don't really know what would a pig do in the nether. But I mean, I guess I should ask that question with all of these guys. But this is literally just a hawk, and it's somehow ended up in hell and repopulated. So, yeah, I think it's probably on par with the cow. I think, yeah, I think I'll put it just below the cow, just because they fill similar purposes. But, I do get behind the concept of just a regular cow. I do get more behind that concept than a freaking just a wild hawk that got down to hell and repopulated. Like, the more I think about it, the weirder it gets. The Piglin Brute, these guys are super threatening. I think these guys are really cool. I'm probably gonna put them like over here in the S tier. They're really threatening. They look really cool. And yeah, I mean, I guess the only knock against them is that they're not really too prevalent. So, they're not really on your mind the same way as something like a villager. But I don't care. I've had some traumatic experiences in a bastion, so these guys will forever haunt in my mind. And yeah, let's just stop talking about it. The piglins are interesting. They're probably in the A tier. I kind of like their interactions, all their like little quirks with how they won't attack you if you have golden armor, how they will put on golden armor that you throw at them, and how you can barter with them. That's also really cool. I don't like them more than the zombie ones, but I think, yeah, I think I'll put them between the Wither Skeleton and the Vindicator. I think that's probably a nice place for them to be. Now the Strider, I do love the Strider, but I won't deny that they're, kind of overlooked. They're not really that special, and yeah, it's kind of the same situation as something like I don't know what did I rank. What did I rank where again? Yeah, I mean it's sort of similar to a Mooshroom, except this one has dramatically less value. Basically the only thing this thing does is it lets you ride over lava, which is kind of insignificant because it takes a saddle and like a stick with a warped fungus on it, which is probably more of a commitment than just like brewing a potion of fire resistance or something. And I guess you can kill them to get string, which you can also do with a spider. So yeah, I do like their design. They're very funny. So yeah, I think I'll put them just ahead of the fish and just call it a day. Now the zombified Hoglin. It is a very weird creature. It is also one that most people probably won't really have that much of an opinion on because it kind of you almost never see it. The only reason that uh, you will see this probably is if you're trying to get the achievement for killing all hostile mobs. And yeah, beyond that, I mean, its design is cool. It's got the same positives as the zombie pigman, but it's just not really as memorable. And yeah, I think I'll put it at the second place in C tier because, well, you know, it's very unmemorable based on the fact that you never really see it, but its design is also pretty interesting. Now the axolotl is really fun. I've never really done that much with them, but I do agree they're very fun. They're a very cute mob, and I mean, I guess they can fight, even though I've never really done that with one. And yeah, I think they'll probably go in the top of B tier. They're not quite A tier for me yet, just because I haven't had as much experiences with them yet. The glow squid, I mean, yeah, the glow squid is kind of a wasted slot. It would be nice if they could do more. Like something that I thought about while like loosely thinking about where I should rank what. which, I didn't script that much of where I wanted to rank what. But I was thinking about some mobs, and with the glow squid, I do agree that it's kind of a wasted slot. But yeah, I was thinking about what it could do to like set it apart more, make it a little bit more interesting. And one interesting idea I came up with what if you hit it, it like expels ink just like a regular squid. But what if you go inside that ink, it gives you that effect where you light up, like the same effect that you get when you get hit with a spectral arrow. What if you get hit with that effect while you are swimming through their ink cloud? I think that's kind of insignificant, but I feel like for PvP it might have some interesting applications. Alright, down to the last four mobs. The goat. I think the goat is very funny, if a little bit insignificant. You can get goat horns from them, which are fine, I guess. But for the rest, they're just kind of underwhelming. Their design and like look is very nice though. So yeah, I think they will probably go near the turtle. I think I like them a little more than the turtle. So yeah, it's going in B tier. And then these last three, the frog. The frog is kind of in the same camp as the goat and the turtle. They're they're very well designed. Their animations and such are very good, but they don't really do that much. I mean, you can make frog lights, which is cool, I guess. But on the other hand, it's kind of a hassle to get them, you know, to the nether to eat a magma cube, or alternatively, get a magma cube to the nether for them to eat. So yeah, I do like the frog more. I can't, understate the quality of their animations, which are really pretty. I think I'll put them just above the pufferfish, and yeah, that's that. The warden, I mean, I this is probably not going to be that surprising, but I think the warden is probably the best mob in the entire game. Like, it has such a cool design. It's so threatening without really feeling unfair. And yeah, I mean, what is there to say? It does insane damage. It's not really even an enemy. It's more just a force of nature that you have to get out of the way and escape from. And yeah, the fact that it is blind and it communicates by sound is so interesting and so unique. And yeah, overall, I think they nailed it on the head with this mob. And yeah, like I said, it's probably going to be my favorite. So yeah, and then the last mob on this list, the Allay. Now, a lot of people say the Allay is useless. I actually kind of like them. I will agree, their uses are limited, but I do just like them for their aesthetic and their design. So yeah, I think I'll put them at the top of C tier. Yeah, that seems nice. And yeah, I mean, I could go through the list again, see if I can change something, but I think that would probably go off the rails really quickly. I'm generally okay with the standards that I've set. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's gonna be it. Every mob in Minecraft ranked by me based on how much I like their design and how much I like their place in the world and how much I like their combat if it's like a hostile mob. So yeah, some interesting results. I didn't expect some of these results. Like, for example, I didn't think like the drowned or the piglin would go so high, but I guess that's just how it goes based on the standards that I've set in the lower tiers and the higher tiers. So yeah, let me know how you'd rank certain mobs uh, that I ranked lower or higher and why. Let me know which mob is your favorite in the game. I think mine is pretty definitively the Warden, though you could also make a case probably for all these other ones in the S tier and maybe even some in the A tier. So yeah, That's gonna be it. For this video, like I mentioned before, if you like this type of laid back tier lists, then be sure to show it in some way via all the means that I mentioned in the intro. Yeah, I hope to see you all in a good mood in the next video. I'm going to go now. Goodbye, everyone.